Hello and welcome to Cleveland Classic Cinema. Our film today is Carnival of Souls, directed by Herk Harvey.
Hey, you want to drive, huh? Rev it up.
Action you've never seen races across your screen as you thrill to a new dimension in picture making. Carnival of Souls. This is the shocking story of a who crawled from the river to race through a nightmare, walking a tightrope between heaven and hell. From the unreal, she crashes through to reality. But try as she will to lead a normal life, she is torn from her goal. There's no privacy in a life she's ever watched, tormented. Either it's her neighbor, desirous of her physically, watching her with his leering eye, or it's the evil eye of the man who taunts her, the man who wants her. From the bottom of the river they come. They reach for her. They demand that she dance with them at the Carnival of Souls. She is a girl driven mad by the relentless forces of the beyond. He will not relent as he comes for her again and again. She whirls between the real and the unreal, trying to cling to life.
I like being with you, really I do. I don't want to be alone tonight. I want to be near you.
Honey, you don't want to go in there all by yourself, do you?
But she must watch herself in death. She must dance at the Carnival of Souls held just for her. For they have come for her for the last time, claiming her as one of their own. Carnival of Souls arouses such emotion that the management has been forced to state positively no refunds. Carnival of Souls is the shocker of all time, guaranteed to sweep you into a new dimension of picture making. You can't afford to miss Carnival of Souls.
Carnival of Souls is a cult film in the pure sense of that term. It did barely any box office upon its release in 1962 and only just made back its negative cost. But the film's reputation as an eerie, disturbing, nightmare-like masterpiece spread over the years. It appeared sporadically on television during the 60s and into the 70s, but for the most part it was a rumor. Tracking down a print for private viewing was impossible, and when it was finally released on videotape, it was struck from a print duped so many times that you could barely see what was going on. George Romero has stated many times that the movie influenced his own Night of the Living Dead, and this made it even more sought after by horror movie fans. It was restored and re-released in 1989 to quite a bit of critical acclaim and did a fair amount of business. In 2000, Criterion released a definitive version of this film on DVD in a 2-disc set that included not only a restored version of the original 78-minute theatrical release, but also the 83-minute director's cut with an audio commentary by screenwriter John Clifford and director Herk Harvey. Both Clifford and Harvey worked at the Centron Corporation, an industrial film company based in Lawrence, Kansas, for more than 30 years. While coming back from vacation in Los Angeles one year, Harvey spotted an abandoned pavilion called the Saltair amusement park just outside of Salt Lake City. Fascinated by the site, he stopped and walked about a half a mile to get a closer look. The place was abandoned, and as he explored it, the thought occurred to him that it would make a great set for a movie. He took a few pictures of the place and showed them to Clifford upon his return to Centron. Clifford wrote a screenplay based on the pictures, and after securing about $13,000 from local investors, cast the movie and began filming. Most of the film was shot in Lawrence, and then the crew moved to Utah to shoot at Saltair. After a bit of finagling with a local electrician, Harvey managed to get the power turned on and they shot the pavilion scenes. Harvey himself appears as the man, the leader of the zombies. Before we continue, let me tell you a bit about the most striking location in this movie, the Saltair Amusement Park, courtesy of the excellent Saltair: A History of Isolation feature on the Criterion disc. Hoping to establish not only a popular vacation spot, but to counter the view of Utah as an alien place of strange people and customs, the Saltair Beach Company hired architect Richard K.A. Kletting to design the resort. Kletting, who had previously designed the State Capitol building and the New York Hotel in Salt Lake City, submitted the unique design that eventually became Saltair. When it opened on Memorial Day in 1893, it featured live bands, picnic and luncheon areas, a merry-go-round, restaurants, bathhouses, and other attractions. The railroad had a stop right at the gate of Saltair for the convenience of the visitors, and over the years, other attractions such as a roller coaster, Ferris wheel, funhouse, and a roller rink were added. By the 1920s, it attracted nearly 500,000 people per year. In April 1925, the first of what were to become a series of disasters at Saltair took place when a fire broke out and completely destroyed the resort. A new pavilion was built the following year, but the bloom was off the rose. The resort never regained its former popularity. During the 30s, Saltair faced even more problems. The Depression ate away at the revenues, high winds and salt spray eroded the facade of the resort, and another fire in 1931 forced an unscheduled closing. In addition, receding lake levels in 1933 left the resort more than a half-mile from the water, leaving it surrounded by garbage-strewn and fly-infested mudflats. It was closed completely for much of World War II, and during the 1950s, much renovation and additional attractions were added, including a 400-foot square swimming area. In 1957, a 70-mile-per-hour wind knocked over the roller coaster, and Saltair closed for good in 1958. It stood abandoned during the 60s. Several efforts to save the site failed, and the resort burned to the ground in November of 1970. In 1981, a new pavilion was built near the site of the original and opened the next year. Ironically, within 2 years, the Great Salt Lake reached its highest level in history, and the pavilion's main floor was submerged in 5 feet of water. In the late 1980s, the water finally receded, and in the fall of 1992, a new company bought the resort and restored it yet again, adding a concert stage. It opened on June 8, 1993, but closed again soon after. Candace Hilligoss, who plays Mary Henry, studied acting at the American Theater Wing, toured in summer stock productions, and appeared on television before becoming one of the Copa girls at the Copacabana in New York City. After Carnival of Souls, she appeared in one more movie, 1964's The Curse of the Living Corpse. Carnival of Souls doesn't belong to the jump-out-from-behind-the-door school of horror film. Its effectiveness is due mainly to the creeping feeling of unease the visuals generate, and it should be viewed with that in mind. So right now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Carnival of Souls, right here on Cleveland Classic Cinema.